Okay, so my name's Kara, and we're just going to be asking you a few questions about your classroom.
Okay.
So can you introduce yourself, what you teach, and what subject, and what
Sure.
level?
I'm Linda Morse, and I teach U.S. History and AP class. I teach a regular 10th grade U.S. class. I teach a course on Africa from 1884 to today, contemporary. And I teach a class on anthropology, and anthropology in Africa rotate. And that's now, but I've taught a whole bunch of other classes as well.
Where do you teach?
At the Foxborough Regional Charter School in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
What is one quality that defines you and that you feel proud about?
I would say I try to be a role model. I try to show that being intellectual and learning and also being healthy and fit and all of those things can give a person a nice life as they age, because I'm obviously a lot older than the children.
I'm sure coming to conferences like this is really beneficial to you. What do you take out of these conferences back into your classroom?
Well, I sat in on a program put on by Primary Source, and I'm very familiar with Primary Source. And they talked about using the Common Core and examining photographs and graphing data and using graphic organizers, reading documents, and combining all of that to create a picture, for example, today on South Korea. So I could take those ideas and put them all together and use them in a U.S. history or Africa or any other class like that. And also you meet a lot of very interesting people and talk to different people about their schools and what they're working on, and so it's exciting that way.
If you could plan the perfect conference, what would it be like? Who would be there?
Well, first of all, if we could travel through time, you could have people from all different times, perhaps. You could ask Stalin why he did things that he did. You could perhaps have Thomas Jefferson or George Washington. You have all different people from all over time and find out what they were thinking about. That would be really fun.
Yeah.
But in terms of now, that's an interesting question. I like to combine the intellectual, so I would have professors as we've had today, and people who are going to help us figure out creative ways to break down the information so that you can explain it to the students. It's really important for teachers to know way, way, way beyond what the students know about, because the more you know, the more you're able to break it down clearly, and then you're able to answer questions and create a solid understanding for students. So you need that intellectual rigor plus the curriculum of how to break things down.
How do you think teachers should motivate their students to want to learn?
Well, motivation really comes from the inside, and probably the best thing that I can do really is to be very enthusiastic about what I teach, and to be excited, and to also make sure that the students understand that no matter what, let's say they don't do their homework for 2 weeks, or that they don't do well on a test, that I am not going to just let them slide out and not make it. So it's very important that I convey a message that no matter what, I'm not going to let you sort of undermine what you're doing and fail. So I have to be exciting, be enthusiastic, offer a wide variety of readings, and I hate to use the word activities, but activities, different skills, different kinds of learning styles, different kinds of study strategies to help everybody succeed. And then for those students that really are not super interested in history, I have to tell them I'm not going to let you fail, and I'm going to be there with you and make sure that you fulfill your commitment as a student, and I'll fulfill my commitment as an instructor.
You said motivation comes from within, but a lot of kids these days don't seem very motivated to learn. How do you handle this?
Well, honestly, I don't think anything has changed. 100 years ago, you're going to look at the same percentage of people 200 years ago that were not motivated to learn about a particular topic. And a lot of people are so eager to sort of jump on and say, well, kids aren't as motivated today and whatever. But first of all, not everybody had access to an education. So now I feel proud in America. Everybody's saying, oh, we're not educating, we're not competitive and all that. But we're educating 100% of our students that are young people in this country. And I think that's something to be very proud of. And a lot of countries don't do that. If you don't pass some test in 8th grade, that's the end of your education. So our country is educating 100%. But to go back to the motivation piece, I think you have to call parents and say, I notice that your student isn't interested in this. Perhaps can you go and visit a museum? Can you encourage your child to read? What are all the ways, even if motivation really has to be internal, I can externally motivate so that that student will believe that I care how they're going to do. And that is another huge component that people don't really talk about. But if students don't think that a teacher cares about that person as an individual, then they're not going to go ahead and try very hard. So whatever methods that I can come up with to let students know that I care about them can also help to motivate. So it's a big piece. It's a big sort of circle that you have to put together all the pieces in the pie to get that internal motivation going.
You mentioned the parents' role in motivating the child. What role do you think parents play without a phone from the teachers?
Well, parents have to encourage their children to read, and to read. A big problem in America is reading nonfiction. A lot of people will read fiction, but a lot of students aren't going to read nonfiction. So to know what's going on in the world, sit down and have dinner a couple of nights a week and talk about, what's going on in the world today. What is North Korea doing? What is China doing? What is America doing? And show their children that they're very interested in what their kids think about and what concerns their children. They have to help show that matters of the intellect, learning, knowledge is power. And we're so quick to say knowledge is power, but maybe we don't demonstrate how it's powerful. It's really powerful. And you have more choices and options, and you have more control over your life the more power you have. So I think that's what parents can do.
Can you describe your dream classroom?
My dream classroom would have a mix of students, some students that struggle with academics, some students that are really, it comes pretty naturally for them or easily because it's their favorite topic. Because whether you struggle or you find it easy, everybody has questions. And to me, to have students asking lots of questions and challenging me to think and say, oh, can I get back to you tomorrow because I have no idea. That's really awesome. If all the students were reading and doing their work and coming in prepared to participate in class, even if they didn't understand it, if they tried, that's all I'm asking is to really try. And to have just a lot of engagement, a lot of questions and participation.
Was this harder or easier than you thought it would be?
Which?
This interview.
This interview?
Yeah. Was it harder?
No, pretty much. I know you guys can give all kinds of hard and easy questions, so it was what I expected, which was hard and easy questions.
And what was one question you wish we asked?
I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.